Hello, everybody. We're going live again. We're continuing up with the Sunday Funnies program that we just got cut out of. I don't know what happened, but they cut us off. We will be back up here and running here in just a second. Give us just a moment. We are going to be gaining ground. We have important things to talk about. And I am sending out links. Hang on just a moment. I know there's dead air here, but I appreciate you hanging in. And we will be rejoined here in just a moment. Please stand by. Everybody should be coming in. There is Russ back. Hello. Whoops. Hello. Everybody else has the links. We're just waiting for him to show back up. Mike says, there you are. Joe says, experiencing technical difficulties. Yes, we were.
Yep.
Gary says, confirmed. We are going to get back up here and running here real quick. So give us just another second. We'll see if we can get everybody back in. Maybe Scott and Daphne are talking in the other room. Who knows? Come on in. Tank Ferret Art, thanks for coming in. Good morning, Randy. Randy, Russ, and friends. Good morning. Tank Ferret, I need to jump back over and make my broadcast public here. Anybody who's not public that are running on Facebook, please do that. Haven't sent your message. Okay, who didn't I send a message to? Let's see who we got back here. Somebody didn't get it. Varian's back in. Varian. Yeah. There you are. The other two must not have gotten it. I will resend it. Definitely don't know what happened there.
I'm here.
If you got,
I can't stay long. People are.
If you got board control on your end, you might have cut us off.
No, I didn't see it. I didn't have I joined in on my phone. I'm wondering if that was an issue.
Might have
Possibly.
been. There, I just resent Daphne and Scott the connection.
Okay. It's the only thing that's different, isn't it? So maybe that's what set it off.
The only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Folks, come on back in. We're sorry. We almost have the audience that we had before. Coming back in. Good morning, back. Randy, Russ, and friends. Back. Tank Ferret says it's Varian's fault. Joe says it's Varian's fault. Stupid standards and practices shut things down. Boo, Varian. LMAO. Daphne is now back in.
Oh, hello,
Daphne.
Yeah,
hello.
We got snapped out of existence.
Yeah,
Eric was in the chat, and he was getting very
got that
impatient. He was getting impatient for the news.
Snap Williams in. I need Arrow Comics. You're muted, mate. Who's muted?
I'm not muted.
We all should be good.
Varian was earlier on, I think.
Oh, okay. Mike, Jimmy, Variant. That is okay. NVM. Jake, wide-eyed. Welcome back, Jake. Please send me those files as soon as you can. Tank Ferret. Soap. Okay.
We're back.
Sorry about that glitch, folks. It wasn't our fault.
Yeah, we have no idea what happened.
We blame Varian still, though.
Let me alone.
Trico, we're sorry. We got cut off for some reason.
All right.
Do it live.
Do it.
I'm fine. Don't look at. Don't look at.
Eric's impatient. Let's get on.
Don't write it. And we'll do it live.
I'm hideous. Don't look at me.
Effing thing sucks. Another day in paradise. Jake Twister. Yes.
Yeah. It might have been. It might have been just been delayed for Daphne's bad language at the end.
Oh, probably. I was on timeout. I was on timeout.
Very shut us down. He came in and exerted his power over us.
Okay. So anyway, we've got just about everybody back in house.
Okay.
Yes, we see you in the chat. Thank you. We might not be able to get to you right away. We've got some announcements to make. Arrow Comics is coming back. Our audience for Indie Volt was huge. We hope it's still huge. We hope you're still out there listening. Everybody out there in Radio Land. We decided to start doing a book showcasing the talent of the different contributors here at Indie Volt. We put out an open call. I started a room on Facebook, and we started collecting stories in order to present to you stuff that we're really proud of, that we can put together into one volume. We ended up having a lot of people come in. Varian just kicked out, so he must have to run in to church or wherever he's at. I'm not.
He's got his little wafer, you know. He's.
I don't know if it's church or not.
You know.
We call casinos church between the wife and I. But anyway,
my mom calls it her recreation hall. Yeah, like you're fooling anybody, Mom. All right, we know you're going off to this.
So anyway, we decided to do Indie Volt Revolt, and I was going to put that as the first Arrow comic to return. We decided to do that. In the meantime, I started working on another version of Spank the Monkey on the comic market, because I've learned so much about comic history, which I love. Since then, I was going to do a more detailed history of the market, as well as the current problems that the retailer has to go through and the different hoops that they're still having to, their trials and tribulations, basically. Anyway, then what happened is the bug, and Ralph ended up realizing that his time here wasn't going to be very long. I told Ralph that I was looking at restarting Arrow Comics. He thought it was a positive thing, really good thing. Do it, get it out there, do what you have to do, crowdfund, sell direct, do whatever. And he loved the different things that Varian had planned. So I decided to stop working on the graphic novel that I was telling everybody about that I was working on, and to start concentrating on doing Arrow Comics. And the first thing I wanted to do was the Revolt book, in order to show folks the spectrum of the different work that we've got here. And we've collected some incredible covers. The tally of the book, once Stitch Jake decides to send his work in, and we get it. Like there's two other stories sitting out there, Stitch, so you're not alone. And I have a 6-page open gap that I still need to fill. But we have some unbelievable stories for this book, and they're stories. The big thing with Revolt that I wanted to do, I didn't want to turn it into a preview book. I didn't want to run little snippets of somebody's graphic novel later. I wanted to give the reader a beginning, middle, and end to the story that they're doing. And I think we've been incredibly successful in what we've collected, and what we've collected is very quality work. Every story that comes in just blows me away. In fact, I ran across a story online that Josh Harris had done, and Josh had already turned in a 4-pager. He had an 8-page story that he was showing up online that looked exactly like Hayao Miyazaki. And I said, dude, you have to let me print this story. This story is awesome. And he's like, you want to print it? I guess you can print it. So yeah. So we're printing it. It's a combination of all sorts of different types of sequential art. And again, it's called Indie Volt Revolt. We had Russ right off the bat. I knew Russ had to do a cover for us, and he did a death cover for it. That's going to be the main primary image cover that we're going to send. But we had so many great stories in the book, and the page count kept growing and growing and growing. And we had offers from other people to do covers, and Daphne had turned in a beautiful mischievous illustration.
Oh, really?
That we've turned into a cover as well.
Is that you, Daphne? Really?
It is.
Yeah, this is my work. Yes.
I just offhand, I said, well, hey, if you wanted to do a mischievous story from Tales from the Anniversary, I'd be honored. And she's like, really? Holy crap.
Yeah, it was like coming full circle for me. You know, like I said, it's like me and JD and Tall Tales. This is an Arrow Comics baby. This is a Realm baby. So it's like it just came full circle. It
was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to have it. And when I saw the illustration, I'm like, oh man, we're going to offer alternative covers or variant covers. I don't know. And so what we've decided to do is the same thing we did with Arrow Anthology. We're going to turn it into a flip book. And you're going to go in from one cover, 60 pages in, and then you flip the book over for another cover, which you'll go in another 60 pages at least. Because when I finish the campaign, we're going to offer a couple of stretch goals depending upon how many people want this book. This book is right now, it's literally 90% in-house. It's awesome. and the print file is ready to go. I can send it to a print on demand guy tomorrow if the other stories were to come in today. Seriously, that's how close we are.
Is that you and me at either end of the book then, Daphne?
Yeah, we're tag teaming.
No, Daphne, seriously, all goof aside, that is really a beautiful cover.
Oh, thank you.
And in fact, you are on one of those versions. But we had another cover come in, and like I said, Ralph passed, and once he had a story that he's always wanted to do. He always bugged me to do it with Retro Ram. So I said, Ralph, do it. Write that story. Do whatever you need to do. Write as much as you can. It's because, he knew his time was less. So was his energy, though. So he ended up getting a Retro Ram story together that he gave to Stu for scripting, that they gave to Mark Bloodworth, who did Night Streets for Arrow Comics back in the 80s.
Night Streets, yeah, I remember that.
To lay out that Jason Moore, who did The Dead for Arrow 2.0, went and did the finishes on. And they included an illustration of Ralph that Vince Locke had done at the very end of the story, dedicated the story to Ralph. We're going to dedicate the book to Ralph. We're going to run a flip book system just like we did with Arrow Anthology. The other cover that we've got, the going in one way, is going to be from Chris Scalf, who does Jetpack Girl. Chris listens to the show every once in a while, and he is amazing with airbrush and Photoshop. Just a lot of fun to do. I had this cover way back for one of the Flint Comics newspapers had that cover, but this is a little larger image and a little cleaner with a little less dress on it. You'll be able to see a lot of It's very nice. And the other cover I've got that I will show on the campaign that we got, and here's breaking news announcement. We got Kirk Jarvinen to come out of retirement. He had been only doing commissions up until this point. He came out and did a cover of Retro Ram for Ralph and for Revolt. And Jason did the finishes on it. We got Chris Hall to do the colors on it. And we're going to do that as the other side of this issue or of this cover. So we're going to offer variant covers. There's only going to be 2 versions available. That's Daphne's and Russ's on one side, or on one book, Chris Scalf's and Kirk Jarvinen's on the other. And you should see Jarvinen's cover. It's super colorful. Chris did an amazing job. Everybody is at the top of their game here, just like with everything that's in this book. And I can't wait to get this campaign started. I've got it half constructed now. I need to finish a video on it, and then figure out exactly what we're going to do for perks and stretch goals. And one of a couple of the stretch goals, I think I'm going to get Varian dedicated to putting a story into the book, because he's the only real hardcore Indie Volt person who doesn't have a story in the book.
Varian.
He only owns the company.
And he's only busy all the time. So and he's horrible with deadlines. But anyway, you didn't hear me say
we're gonna get cut off again, Randy.
Horrible. Take that for a deadline. I can see that. The campaign for that's gonna go up. It's gonna run for 60 days as soon as it's posted. I want to try to get it posted next week, because the 12th of March is our anniversary for starting the Indie Volt podcast. Very important for me to get it up there by that date, if not just a little bit before. It's already the 7th, so hopefully Monday we'll have it up there for their review board. Maybe we'll start it right on the 12th, and we'll run it for 60 days. And once it's done, it's done. And however orders we have for that book, plus a few extra for the contributors, that's going to be the print run on that book.
Now, this is a Kickstarter for the Indie Volt Revolt, right?
Yes.
Okay, now we have to start getting the word out about it before the campaign launches?
Well, as soon as the campaign launches, at least, so you have some place to go.
Yeah, but
the landing, like that landing page sign up thing.
Yeah.
but letting them know that it's going to be happening. So,
And he's freezing now. Yeah.
Now, what I want to know is,
I'm probably not going to do a sign up page for this. We're just going to jump right into it.
Oh, okay.
And we're 2 weeks literally out from having copies in our hands once the print file is complete, because it's so close to being done now, it's not even funny.
what is Russ going to do for Indie Vote Revolt?
Well, Russ did that cover.
Which cover?
On there. Oh, let me pull that back up. Which cover? The witch cover. No, the death cover. That cover.
Oh, awesome. Russ.
Plus, Russ has done a 7-page short story revolving around war, right?
Yeah, one of the four horsemen.
One of the four horsemen. I'm sure it was war.
Yeah.
Oh, Russ.
I'm reading your book. I'm reading your book, Russ. I swear I am.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. It is an awesome read.
For my backers, so that everybody knows, all the books that I'm putting together. So it's an arc of 3 books. The first book is out. The second book will have that story, but in my book, it will be in color. For this book, it's in black and white. Yep. So everybody gets a chance to see it. And there'll also be some extra stuff in the second book that's associated with the first book that we'll find out more about very shortly.
Well, we'll talk about your campaign before we leave here. We're already sorry, radio listeners out there. We hope you're still with us. We're pressing that 2-hour mark, but we got interrupted there for a while, and it took us a while to even build up to this point. So we hope you listen to part 1 of this program as well.
Awesome cover, Russ. Very cool.
Thank you.
You got an AD feel to it.
Yeah, I'm sort of somewhere in between Bronze Age Marvel and 2000 AD, literally. So there's sort of halfway between the two. They're my influences. So
for you radio listeners that can't see this cover, imagine a spittle of drool going down my face.
Pretty much. I agree. That's an accurate description. Yes.
Not only that, but you should see the story that Russ did. It really reminds me a lot of like a cross between Dave Gibbons and Gil Kane.
Oh God.
There's some layouts in there and some construction in there that you just go, oh, and it's solid Bronze Age level material. Just beautiful work. Everybody that's done stories for this book, it's just unbelievable the quality that we've gotten in. I can't tell you how proud I am to be associated with it. I've got 2 short stories in it. One's 4 pages, one's 5 pages, and really they're there to fill those little spaces between those other great stories that we've gotten. You know, I've got a Lindy Jack story in there, and I do have a 4-page Spank the Monkey story in there. Right at the very end that I've been sitting on. It's never been published before. That has him. It's very poignant to the discussion that we had in the first part of our program.
Right.
I'll keep that quiet.
Another addition is that on here on my desk, I'm producing.
Oh no, that's for another project, buddy.
Oh, I know.
That's for it. Let me get to that. Give me a second.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're getting ahead of me here for a second. That's the campaign. That's the crowdfunding that we're going to do right off the bat. And believe me, if retailers who are signed up through Liberty Distribution, if you're interested in picking up this book, contact Liberty. We will give you their retail discount on this title. Well, I'm not afraid to reprint a few extra copies of this. It's going to have a $19.99, I believe, cover price on it. It's going to be at least 120 pages long. We're going to have stretch goals that if are met, the page count in the book will be bigger.
Yes.
And we can, thanks to print on demand and the conveniences of not having to print so many or wait for a printer so far in advance, we have a 2-week turnaround time, whether we're 100 pages or 300 pages.
Awesome.
So, and our printer is very local. We're going to have it printed through Comics Wellspring, but they're a 40-minute drive from my house. I will be the delivery service. I'll be able to watch over.
We know where they live.
We know where they live. They're great people. They've had a association with Varian and Liberty for a while, so they're very good The thing I like about them is that they put a good book together. The regular comics sometimes are my personal taste. You get that gap in the print on demand books right at the spine that kind of drive me a little crazy. But their graphic novels are literally top notch. So we're going to have a high quality publication here, bright paper, the black and white interiors, phenomenal color covers, flip book for this. Probably going to run $19.99. We are going to offer a PDF to anybody not in the continental United States. But if you're in the continental United States, we want you to buy the book so that you can hold it in your hand. We're very picky about that. We are also going to offer a print copy away from the campaign if you want, that are radio listeners, if they want to have a physical copy, but we're going to have to figure out postage. That's the biggest, as we talked before, that's the largest stumbling block about us getting a product out to you. And there's that big division anymore, and we're not sure how that's going to work out. Hopefully things settle down and postage rates become more reasonable again. We don't know. We don't know how it's going to run. But right now we're going to be offering this book. It's going to pop up on IGG soon. And it's going to be a 60-day campaign, but don't wait that long, because the larger the stretch goals are hit, the more the stretch goals are hit, the larger and thicker that book's going to become. And we're not afraid to add more pages. I've already got one 12-page story in-house waiting to go, that the person who provided it to me is going to be disappointed if he doesn't get in. That's going to be our first stretch goal. And you're going to see who these people are as we go along, and the closer to these stretch goals we get. And the roster quality of people that we have, believe me, is top notch, and it's very reflective to the quality of talent we have here on Indie Volt. We have Daphne's done a story. JD's even given me a small 3-page Oswald Chronicles story that hasn't been printed before. Russ has a story that hasn't been printed yet that will be in his second book. Like I said, I've done a couple stories. Emily Zelasco has done an amazing story off of a Norse poem. That's a fantastic short story involving Odin. Let me get my list here. There's a 10-page Retro Ram story that I described to you before that's in there. There is a Empyrean Vole, who you see a lot in the chat. He's got 10 pages of a story that involves an anthropomorphic cat, large bugs, and a giant robot.
Hail Empyrean Vole.
That you have to see. Yeah. Hail Empyrean Vole. Empyrean Vole is also working on our next project that we're going to talk about here in a second. We might go long today, folks. We're already 5 minutes over, and I'm just getting started. What else do we have in here? We have a story from Seth Grimm, Goblin Grimm. That's a great story called Fairies Wear Boots. We have the only real kind of preview that I would consider it to be a preview, though it's a nice short story, is from Marv from Portugal for his Sin Killer book. That is amazing artwork, even in black and white. And if you're a friend of Marv, he's showing pages in color now. And I'm sitting there looking at the black and whites and going, how is he ever going to put color into this? And it's amazing what he's doing. He's using a very flat palette, and it just is pretty, pretty, pretty. Really nice stuff.
We like flat palettes.
Yeah.
And very limited. I think that he's using like a 16 color palette.
Yeah. It's very fast, very amazing. John Celestri has a 2-page Mega Moose origin story in it. Josh Harris, who I mentioned before, has got a small science fiction story in the front, and then a larger, more fantasy-oriented story that's incredibly inspired by Hayao Miyazaki in it. So it's a little combination of manga-influenced material, but it's all meant to be read and enjoyed in black and white. Even Russ's story that he's putting in color has some phenomenal gray tones in it. It really reminds me of Gil Kane's Black Mark materials.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
It's got, because of the grey tones and the black and white, it's got its own look in the Revolt book, and it'll have its own look in the second volume of Only Death Can Save Us. So it's definitely worth getting both if you're into that kind of artwork.
Is he going to mimic that great Zipatone, that dot pattern gray film Kane had to use, or just gray tones?
It's just a mechanical grey tone at the moment, but I was thinking about that, but I've already given him the artwork, so
It's too late.
it's too late.
Sorry.
It's been
Next
submitted.
time.
It's already in the print file. It still looks amazing, though. It's great. And I've shown a picture of a page off of that here before, so folks can go back up the Indie Vault line and look. We're just going to cut it short for time right now. But what I really want to talk about is what Arrow Comics is planning on doing in the direct market. And Liberty is gaining ground. Like I said, I'm hoping that they're going to keep gaining the ground that the momentum that they've already maintained, because I'm taking a big chance here, because Arrow's going to start doing comics for the direct market. We're going to do a monthly title, and we're going to do a couple of bi-monthly titles that we're going to kick out, though I haven't really talked to Russ about the frequency of what he wanted to do. I am assuming it's bi-monthly. What do you think?
Well, it depends.
Cutting
If
edge right here.
It's cutting edge right here. If we could do it as the first few as a monthly thing, and then take a break,
yeah,
and then bring the second set in, because they will be a set on their own. So
or we can stagger it to bi-monthly, and then
we can stagger it to bi-monthly.
By the time the third book is out, your second book will be out. So.
Yeah, it's always that's possible. Yeah. So the announcement is Only Death Can Save Us is coming to Arrow Comics 4.0.
Who?
We're going to be converting Only Death Can Save Us into 32-page floppy books for the direct market.
But I heard a name? Did you say Alan Davis?
No. Only Death Can Save Us.
Only Death Can Save Us. Oh. The hearing aids are working just fine today.
I said bring a movie, something old.
So yeah. So
an Alan Davis cover would definitely not be turned.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Imagine. Yeah. God, wouldn't that be great? Oh.
But yeah, Only Death Can Save Us is going to come out as a bi-monthly title. I think it needs to be bi-monthly in order for the fans to catch on to it. And
it's totally up to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally up to you whether you make it into 3 22 pages or 2 32 pages. It doesn't make any difference. What
I want to do is 32-page books. How you want to break that up, I'm going to leave entirely up to you.
Right. Okay.
Because this is the thing with Arrow Comics. When we do these books, all of the direct market books are going to have a $4.99 price tag. And I know that's not market average right now. We're not going to start up until August. And I am pretty sure that by August, with the way the market is looking, that's going to be the industry standard in 6 months. Right. As a $4.99 book. I don't want to go over $5, but on the other hand, I also don't want to cheat anybody, or the last thing I want somebody to pick it up and go, that wasn't worth $5 at all. Because I get that problem now personally when I pick up a mainstream, shall we say, floppy, where you're going in and you're lucky if you see 20 pages of comic and slaughtered with 12 more pages of ads plus a cover and blah, blah, blah. The Arrow's intention here is to entertain you, not to money grab you. So if there's open parts in Russ's book, we will throw a preview if we have to, or a short story in for another property or a book with Russ's permission. Russ has complete control over that book, what goes in, what doesn't go in, and we'll go from there. But I want all of the books are going to be 32 pages. The covers are going to be at present, it's planned to be a little stiffer than an average comic cover, not by much, but you'll be able to hold it in your hand and feel like you've got something substantial. So when Arrow Comics 3.0 was running, back when Scott was doing August and that, we were always doing 3 titles a month. Yes. And that's really what I want to get back to. I want to do 3 titles a month. And one of those, one of the other books that we're going to do is a monthly Hero Bot Zero book, which we're going to bring in a lot of different artists. If you haven't seen the character before, this is Hero Bot Zero. He's a 3-foot-tall giant robot who fights big monsters.
I love that. A 3-foot-tall giant robot. I love that.
That's what he is. And he's got a complete arsenal on him, and he's got an attitude that's worse than Wolverine's. He absolutely does not want to have to work overtime unless you're willing to pay bonus plus time and a half.
But he's so cute.
He's the creation of Tippy Toe Tack, who's the young boy, and his mom. The whole family has Toe Tack Tech.
Say that 3 times fast.
Exactly. The mom's name is Tippy, Tippy Toe Tack, and that's Timmy Toe Tack. And his dad is currently out of the picture because his dad was working on a dimensional doorway, and he ended up stepping in, and he hasn't been able to come back yet. So the Tippy is hoping one of these days, as soon as he can afford the possible time and a half, that he can send HeroBot through that dimensional doorway to go find his dad.
That'll be cool or something.
But in the meantime, there are giant monsters that menace the city and other problems. And the cool thing with HeroBot is that he's a very cartoony look. So I put out a call a few months ago looking for people who can do cartoony animated work. And I ended up running across a couple of people that are currently working on stories that in order to help us keep HeroBot running on a regular monthly basis. I'm going to throw in as much work as I possibly can of my own. I've got a lot of ideas to do, and I'm out looking for other people. If you think you can draw that character right there, it's a combination of basic shapes. It's actually Star-Lord's helmet, but they don't use it anymore. Anyway,
it's an homage
with a mohawk. That's cool. That's cool helmet. I'm going to do that.
It's got a fin of fromage, which is
there. It's an homage fromage.
But he has a complete arsenal built into himself of anything that you can imagine. All sorts of missiles and beams and lights, and his fist comes flying off and smacks people and all sorts of stuff. Whatever you can imagine is what this character can do, which is part of the fun. The thing with doing a 32-page book with a character like this, though, is that it heralds back to my youth, where I was picking up all of the oddball stories. Plus, you get that Godzilla giant robot angle added into it, where he's fighting large monsters. But we can throw 1 story, 2 stories, 4 stories into a book to fill up that 32-page run. And that's what I plan on doing with HeroBot. You will always get maybe not a completely full comic of HeroBot, but you're going to end up getting at least 28 pages of comic story for that $5 that you're going to have to put down for the product. And that's really important to me, because I want folks to be able to pick up a book and not complain about the cover price, especially if they compare it to everybody else's book, to sit there and go, oh, it's been $5 on this book, but I got 4 stories. That's pretty cool. One of the other books that we're going to do on a bi-monthly basis is we're going to take the Indie Volt Revolt title, and we're going to knock it into 32-page books with the permission. Some of the material will be the material that's in the campaign. Not all the material will be there, but there will also be new material, black and white material, that'll be there on a regular basis. And we'll probably offer that as a bi-monthly as well, to counter up against 2 other titles that we will be doing that I'm not announcing yet. That are going to be a lot of fun. I want to do real fun, real accessible comics so that anybody can get up there and enjoy. Oh, and Scott is working on something as we speak. Anything you can show?
No, you can't see it.
Okay.
Well, because I promised myself I was not going to have any vomiting on the show today.
Oh.
So you think we're all going to vomit?
Well, if I do my job, you will. But the thing is, I'll show a little bit. Here's a little bit. Here's a little bit of some of that.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Oh,
That's the very man. It's the very robot.
It's the very guy. Yep.
And he's facing off with, what the hell is it called again?
Tobor.
Hey, I don't read. I just draw. So that's what I'm working on getting done. It's going to be all brushwork and pen and all kinds of fun. I'm going to bring all of my experience from the Looney Tunes days when I was drawing those comics.
That's the whole idea.
to bear on this. So
it's going to be a
Brilliant.
mash of all sorts of different genres and formats and things going on. And this heralds back to the Where Monsters Dwell, Where Creatures Roam books that Kirby and Ditko used to do it, 7 to 8 page segments, to the Japanese phenomenal Shogun material, Shogun Warrior type material, giant robot books, just a combination of all of that rolling into a large ball of fun. That's the whole idea behind doing this title. And you never know who's going to be in the book from month to month. Sometimes it might be all me if I have enough time to put stuff in. It might be Scott. It might be, who knows.
And with the cover that I'm doing, there'll be a special signing just for you Indie Volt Revolt or Indie Volt people. And I'm practicing my giant X for the signing.
There we go. There you are. And we've got more coming. These books are not going to be available until August. So we're staking, it'll be a distance before everything will be on the stands, but they will be on the stands and they will be offered by Liberty Distribution. So if you're retailing out there and any of these books sound attractive to you, please get a hold of Liberty. The retail discount is amazing. The key thing with Liberty, if you get up there and read what they're all about, Varian is going to be offering a buyback or a swap back program for the books that you buy. So if you take the chance and buy 5 copies of HeroBot Zero #1 and you only move 3, and you can return the 2 in exchange for 2 other alternative comics from Liberty. So we hope though that when you buy those 5 copies of HeroBot 1 from Liberty that you're going to need another 5. So just because the book's going to be that fun. And Revolt's always going to have a combination of different stories in it. I might even start putting editorial rants in the front where we're talking about the market, or at least about how great the stories are that you're about to read. We've seen, honestly, when I first started Revolt, we were talking 60 pages, maybe tops, if we're lucky, 68. And now we're about double that because these folks love Indie Volt. They like the book. They love us and they want to contribute to us. And we've never asked anybody. We have never done a potathon like we threatened to do. And there is a large expense that Varian has to pay in order for the radio streaming. So we honestly hope to give some return, for that. But also the profits from the book are all going to be divided up by page count and sent back to the creators. So that's why I'm hoping Varian actually gets a story in this book.
Oh, definitely.
But the Indie Volt Revolt book will be out starting in August. The large book, the campaign book, will be out probably start of July at the latest. I would think we would start fulfillment on that. As soon as we close that account down, believe me, as soon as we close that campaign down, it's not going to be in demand. We are just going to fill what's there, and then that's it. They're done. So anybody that orders the Revolt book in the campaign will get that large book. And once we're done printing that book, that's it. That's as far as it goes with either cover.
Yeah, so
we will not be going back and reprinting the large volume Revolt book.
Okay.
And we want it to be our way of saying thanks to everybody for listening. We hope you enjoy not just us, but our work. And it gives us a chance to display that work out to you. So next time Russ is on the air, you can go, oh, I remember him from the Indie Revolt book. He did that war story. That was awesome.
See, you're going to be remembered, Russ.
Yeah. For something other than criminal activity.
But that's always been the intent on doing, or your potential
as varied as that has been.
Yeah. But that's always been the intent with the Revolt book. We've never meant to be a showcase book or a anthology has such a bad name on the market. We really want it to be a portfolio collection of the Indie Volt contributors showing off their best stuff. And everybody that's been on here, except for Kirk Jarvinen, who did a cover, and Chris, who did a cover, I'm pretty sure everybody else has at least done 2 or 3 appearances on the radio program over the years. And they should be very recognizable names.
What kind of a what numbers of a print run are we talking about? You think?
However many the campaign comes, plus a couple copies for all of the contributors.
Oh, okay.
A piece.
So we have
that's like 500 right there.
Oh, okay.
No,
no
I don't know how many it is, but it'll be
Yeah. No, we're figuring out the stretch goals and everything for the campaign.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll be offering 2 sets of covers. It'll be a flip book. Russ and Daphne will have one cover. Kirk Jarvinen and Chris Scalf will have the other cover. And well, we're just going to go from there and have that book out.
Excellent.
And I've been ignoring the chat. I'm sorry. There's a lot there. So
let's go.
Let's run through that before we leave. And we're sorry to have kept everybody late. We know we're over a half an hour, or we're pressing a half an hour over. So I'm having to stroll up this line here. Oh, and this is, I haven't read any of the chat. I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot that we lost contact there for a second.
Get ready with your phrase.
Experiencing technical difficulties confirmed. It's all Variant's fault. William Pace says, I need Arrow Comics. He says, you're muted. He's not muted anymore. Variant is gone. AVM, there we are. Jake says, from a desk of small press publisher, Varian just tripped a cable. Actually, he was sitting in the church parking lot. So he probably hit the wrong button is what it is. I blame him. Take 2. I didn't open, right? Good morning, all you beautiful bastards.
Thank you.
Remember, we're TVMA DLSV, folks. Jake says, Tank Tarrant. What happened?
Well,
Trico says, we lost our connection for a minute. Do it live. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Dreaded Dinosaur. And we should also point out Eric Hodson has a phenomenal story in this book as well. That is just primo. Very nice.
Eric is awesome.
Blame YouTube. That's what he said. Blame YouTube. Well, Jake Twister, we survived the Thanos Varian snap. Yeah. Tried to keep it from coming on. They just can't stop us. Varian looks like he just woke up. Yes, he did. Yes, it's Varian. Sorry. Yeah. We can blame him for everything now. He's not. He's probably going to listen to this later. Varian Grant is in disguise, not wearing his hat. Yes, he was. And he said nobody, he's told us in the past, nobody listens to him unless he's wearing his hat. It says, from the desk of a small press publisher, Thanos did what he did when he got Snapchat. So he wanted to cut out one half of that app. Yeah, that's what it was. Tank says, pray for me. Grant says it's autocorrect. That could be it. Mike Jimmy says, pretty much LOL. There's some features there. So Drew on Samsung 2. Hello, Drew. Hope you're doing well. Sign me up for Revolt right now. Well, you're going to have to wait a couple days until I can get that done. And again, a lot of this has been my fault because I've dragged my feet on a little bit of it. I was going to do it. I wasn't going to do it. We were going to do it as floppies, and we weren't going to do it as floppies. And there was another project that was coming, and we didn't know what, and all of this. So, but now we're looking at a direction. We have a definite destination, a place where we're going. The campaign is going to happen. The books are going to happen. The direct market, hopefully, we'll have some exposure there to keep us going. And like I said in my introduction at Arrow 4.0, I'm looking at doing both direct market books and crowdfunding books. I really want to get an Anniverse collection together. That's the next big book. I want to finish that Spank the Monkey on the comic market book because it's very important to me. I've literally got 56 pages done, and it looks like it's going to run about 130 once it's all done. But this takes precedence because I think it's important that we get it out there now, at least starting in August, and that we get Arrow up and rolling again, because now is the time. The direct market is hungry for work. The reader, consumer is desperately looking to be entertained by some nice product, and we want to provide.
It only took 30 years and a pandemic.
That's it.
And fun anecdote, Floppy was one of my college nicknames. So.
Oh boy.
Seth. Goblin Grim, I got to get a copy for my mom. She collects everything I'm published in. I'm looking forward to seeing all of what everyone else put in it as well. It's going to be a classic volume. I'm having a rough time now trying to delete all of the extra expletives that I'm writing up in the campaign. You know, there's only so many times you can say classic and stupendous and incredible and amazing, and no.
Well, they say this is an awesome show. That it'll come into this is an awesome show, and that's because of
Oh, wow.
There we go. Thanks to Ninja. Sending the files now, Randy. Okay, Jake, you're there. Jake's doing a story called The Tired Detective. He's done a few episodes of that for a few other anthologies, and we're looking forward to that. Maybe we'll print more of those stories in future revolts as well as we get rolling with the floppy book. Hooray! Marv says thank you, Marv, very much. Sent the files. There we go. It's probably in my inbox. Greetings, everyone, from Genuine Comics. Greeting, Genuine Comics.
Greetings.
Go over and take a look at. I'm going to screw up which title is yours. I think it's Perfect 10.
Perfect 10, Genuine. Yeah.
Yes, Perfect 10. Great,
fantastic title.
We have folks on the show. I start blending their products together. So.
That is on Indiegogo right now. Go check it out.
Indiegogo, Perfect 10.
There's even a Russ Leach pin-up with it if you buy the Embrace as well. So go do it. Go get both those books.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I was just talking to Mike this morning. I just bought into the Embrace. I thought I had done it yesterday, but I actually did it this morning. There was some card glitch going on IGG, but we got it straightened out.
Yeah, it does do that occasionally, yeah.
Yeah. Bam, there it is, says Trico. Marv says, awesome. Congratulations, Russ. I thought you were going to say the announcement is. And cut the stream off.
Exactly, yeah.
Should have done it, Empyrean. Sorry. We didn't do that. And the announcement is snow. There we go. Jake, no, we actually got all of the announcements out that we're going to do now. I know this is 5-6 months up the road, but we have to get a running start on this if we're going to be consistent. That's something
it seems like a long time until it's not.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be August. Look, it's already the first week of March. It's going to be August in no time.
We're approaching the second week. Actually. Yes.
Yeah.
Russ, you knob.
You knob.
You've kicked up another UK invasion.
Hey, you knob. Yeah. For those people that obviously back my books, this is a model that I think is going to work for people, where you can get the red carpet premium treatment from the release from Indiegogo or any kind of crowdfunding, where there's extras in that book, and there are extras in all of my books. There will be support stories and all other kinds of stuff, and then you're able to get to that wider market, get your IP, get your ideas out via Arrow Comics and Liberty out to a far wider market, and obviously those books are just the story. They're hopefully, people will enjoy them and they'll get out to those more people. But that's what's important to make sure that those people that are backing your project, they get something special. They get the red carpet treatment, and then you're able from there to help with their help. And that's what these crowdfunding projects are all about the interaction between creator and audience. And then that goes out and moves out into a bigger audience. And everybody benefits from that. So, Just a note to say everything will carry on as normal. The books, all 3 books will be created. All 3 books will have additional content and extras for those backers, and then they'll move on into some very quality produced Arrow Comics 4 books, which I'm very proud to be part of.
And it creates as intimate of a connection as we've ever seen between creators and audience. It's
without a doubt. But it forces us as creators to be more than just people in a board.
Oh yeah,
with things like what we're doing now, to be out there and to connect with those audiences. Yeah.
And for those of us willing to shoulder that kind of extra effort, it's a godsend. I mean, I've wanted to see this kind of atmosphere happen decades ago. Now, thanks to the modern connections we have and all this, it's we can really make this happen. So we really have to gird our loins, so to speak. Sorry, Daphne, I stole another.
That's okay.
Really make this stuff happen. That's why I was excited when Randy put the call out for the stuff. I contacted him and I said, "Hey, Randy, what the hell? I'm right here."
Yeah, what, chopped liver? What's going on? Come on.
Yeah, chopped liver. Yeah. And there's more coming. The Arrow Comics 4.0 has a YouTube channel. Arrow Comics 4.0 has a Facebook page, if you go over and look at our header, you'll see a few things we didn't announce, and there's things that we have yet to announce that we haven't put on that header. You're going to be amazed, hopefully greatly entertained, and you're going to eagerly look forward to seeing Arrow Comics back on the stand. So make sure you tell your retailer that we're coming, that we're through Liberty. They need to sign up through Liberty. I have no plans at present to go through Diamond.
Gotcha.
I really do not want to go through Diamond. And I'm hoping that Liberty will gather enough of an audience or enough of a retailer base so that I don't have to worry about being hitting the direct market some other way.
We just have to pay close attention to things and keep dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
That's it, exactly. I'm already looking at my overhead now and going, okay. Please
help us to sell enough books so Diamond will wonder why we're not in the catalog.
Please like my book. Yeah. Empyrean says HBZ, but I'm not sure. Empyrean, I kind of like HBO, but no, HBZ it is. HeroBot Zero. Yes.
All right.
This is going to be awesome. Thank you, Empyrean. Empyrean is actually working on a story for us. He has that story in Revolt that I was telling you about. Once I saw his giant robot and talking cat, I'm like, dude, you need to do a HeroBot story for me.
It's a flying chicken.
And then he came right back with ideas for like 4 issues worth of stuff. And I'm like, whoa, do this one first. And then we'll talk about more. But it's great. It's looking really good.
What's William talking about here? It's a flying chicken.
Yes.
What's he talking about?
Exactly.
We don't know.
You might have to wait.
Yeah.
You never know who here. I've had HeroBot fighting large piles of garbage. He's fought a large bit of putty. He's fought a 50-foot tall burrito that he ended up eating. That's the only way he could get rid of him. He had to eat it. Then an incredibly large gingerbread man. After all of the gingerbread men become sentient in a baker's baker's shop.
I hate it when that happens.
And start cannibalizing and eating each other, searching for grains, and they end up turning into one gigantic, large gingerbread man. That's right. It's Night of the Living Grain. Anyway, Night of the Living Bread. It was the name of the story. Yeah. I've got an
animated series written all over it. Mate.
Oh,
if your waitress,
and toys and just all sorts of. I've already got a character sheet done, front, side, back. So anyway, you never know where this could end up. Seriously, it ought to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to getting this underway. I wanted the patented giant R for the signature, Mr. Rosema. How sad now? Very sad.
Hey, there's always time for graft.
It's an honor to be part of this project, Marv. We're happy to have you on Revolt. We'll talk about more stuff after you get Sin Killer rolling and done. If you ever see a finish to it, we'll talk. I can give a couple of drawings for the campaign. Thanks, Marv. Don't tempt me. I thought the announcement was going to be Varian finally coming out. Now what am I going to do with all these rainbow balloons? I thought for this coming out party. LOL. That's why he's a church. But
send it to me, Treacle. I've got a secret.
Yeah. Everyone likes rainbow balloons.
The drawing of the robot. Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Night of the Living Migraine. Yeah, Night of the Living Migraine.
Been there.
And before you go, here's another bit of history. HeroBot's got a long-running history with Arrow Comics that stretches all the way back to the first incarnation of Arrow that very few people realize. There was a time when we were at Arrow Comics sitting around the offices stunned at the BS black and white books that were over-flooding the market.
Oh yeah, on the wave of Ninja Turtles.
Turtles, yeah.
Well, not just that. It wasn't Turtles' fault. It was a lot of greedy folks who realized, oh, I could print a black and white comic pretty cheap, so let's do this.
It was during that wave. I mean, Turtles set that off.
It was all during that wave. So we made up, and since time has passed, we can't be prosecuted for this, but we made up a fake comic.
The statute of limitations.
We made up a fake comic company, and we put out the call for a group of books. we solicited for a group of, we even took out an ad because we thought it'd be funny to do just to see how it worked. We had a $2.95 price tag on those books at a time when the company average for a black and white book was $1.50. So we're sitting there, going, let's see how these numbers pull in. We'll probably get nothing. It'll be funny. One of those books was a book called BattleBot.
Yes.
Which was that character.
Yeah.
We ended up getting orders for 3,000, and this is not a lie, per title on those books. And we solicited for like 6 titles, and we didn't do it because at the time we were making more money as Arrow.
Wow.
We didn't pursue that. And we had, let me think of the titles we had. We had BattleBot, we had Hellspawn Ninja, and this is just before Spawn come out, just before Image come out. Hellspawn Ninja. We had Captain Justice, which was a humor book about a goofy, your typical Superman superhero that got turned into a girl. We had another Renegade Cop was one of them, about your typical Dirty Harry character. And we had, I think we had Bunny Rabbit, which was about a Playboy bunny that got bit and gets superpowers from a rabbit bunny.
I mean, so not only did you have to do a decoy book, but you did an entire fake company and fake book. You had no intention.
Fake stationery. We took out I think it was a 1 or 2 page ad in some of the distributors' comics and everything. We were going to go, and we were talking about, well, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to get a bunch of substances together and sit down over a weekend and kick these books out. Boom.
Wow.
And we suddenly, by the time we got the orders in, sanity prevailed, and we were like, well, we'll just cancel them. That's
the joke's not funny anymore.
Yeah, honestly, at the time for the orders of the book, we were making more money doing Arrow, and we were prouder of that product. So we did it all with fake names, so nobody really knew it was us. We just kind of calmed that down and kept working.
It was that type of activity that made me think, I got to be a part of this.
Well, I wanted to keep doing BattleBot.
The closer I am to this activity, the less I'm going to get caught in the firing range. You got to.
Sure. I wanted to keep doing BattleBot, but Sci-Fi Channel come up with a Robot Wars kind of.
Oh yeah, remember that.
So I had to stop doing BattleBot. And then one of the contributors for the Arrow Comics suggested HeroBot Zero. So I did that. And the first issue of Arrow, and first couple issues of Arrow Anthology, I think, has BattleBot stories in them that are now HeroBot Zero stories.
So you get a few HeroBot Zero stories under the Arrow Comics belt, and then do a manga version of it and get it translated.
That would be fun.
See what happens.
Yeah,
because that
that's all.
I mean, and that's funny because that's completely possible now.
Oh,
yes. So many people have that style, and Clip Studio Paint, and you could.
The Japanese are apparently, that market are even quite keen on some Americana.
Yeah.
So if you were to put the effort into actually translating some books, you'd be surprised, I think, what kind of response you get.
We'll leave the door open if somebody over there wants to do a translation. Let's talk.
The manga market is far more open nowadays than they were decades ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're really looking to try and kind of, and they'll be dominating it, no doubt about it. But having more of an international flavor to the manga market.
I'm not exactly sure when we're going to start offering through Liberty. I do know the books will be out by that's the target date is August. The first set of books will be out, and once they're out and available, they'll be available online at the Liberty. Or Liberty's talking about doing a catalog that I'm sure they're going to be a part of. Even if they're advanced orders, we'll let you know that they won't be out for a month or so, or whenever Liberty gets a catalog out. But we will start supplying retail shops at a retail discount these books, because to me it's important to be not just in readers' hands, but in those retail shops' hands, because somebody's they need every bit of help that they can possibly get a hold of, and I sincerely hope that they take advantage of Liberty. in order to get it out there. A lot of the products that Liberty already has on hand and available are all products that didn't or weren't available through Diamond. So,
and the kind of notoriety that a crowdfunding campaign can generate, it's essential, I think, to try and translate that notoriety and awareness into the presence at comic shops.
Yep.
You know, so I think a crowdfunding campaign can't just start and stop at the campaign itself.
Yep.
It's got to definitely bleed over into more of the public sphere.
We've also got our eyes on other options. The one thing that I would absolutely love to do as soon as possible, as soon as we think that there's a market call for it, is to do a newspaper like Flint Comics that's available through the retailers for a small price. It always amazed me, stunned me really, that DC never pursued Wednesday Comics, because it was such a lovely product. And all they did was put out enough to put a coffee table book together on, and then they stopped the project. And it just dismays me that they didn't keep it going, because I love that format and it fits. When you fold that newspaper down, just like an issue of Flint Comics, you fold down and slide it right into a newspaper bag. So it's not like it's not collectible, or into a magazine bag. I mean, into a magazine bag, so it's collectible. And
it was amazingly good quality material. I mean, it was just top notch.
There's so much opportunity available for strip reprints. If you remember, one of the key things I used to pick up Amazing Heroes for was that they used to carry a lot of strip reprints in them.
Yeah.
You know, that stuff is just as evergreen now as it was then. You know, I would love to run Starhawks in a newspaper type format. That would be incredible for me. And the stories are universal. And granted, they've been reprinted about 12 times over in every format that you can imagine, but there's still people out there who's never read the stuff.
Hey, Russ, are you familiar with Starhawks?
I just a little bit. I don't really.
I haven't
got any of the books.
It was a 2-tier comic strip that Gil Kane did for about 5-6 years.
Yeah. I think I might have seen some of it.
Yeah. Right.
I haven't got any.
Yeah.
Right. Right in the 80s, I think they created it because of Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But it's about a group of space rangers.
Okay.
It's
What's it called again?
And they have a robot dog, Starhawks.
Yeah.
Starhawks.
Yeah. And Gil Kane was famous for jumping on opportunities as soon as they showed up.
He was also famous for his basic shaped spaceships. So
yeah, I recognize that. Yeah,
there's a rectangle with a circle with a knob and this and piled.
Hey, whatever works.
Gil Kane.
Oh, it's awesome. I love this stuff.
What a fabulous artist.
Yeah. Oh, he was just
brilliant.
He's the best inker, but he's a tremendous artist.
Yeah.
Well, I think at the time he was running on hardcore deadlines. He did a lot of stuff for DC that looked like he was using a Sharpie pen to ink with.
I've done that.
See, he was
still better than most modern.
Yeah. and those are stories by Ron Goulart and a couple of other, I think Archie Goodwin, if I'm not mistaken, might have written one or two of those.
Jan Strand did the scripting for the Sword of the Atom. And, oh yeah.
Well, back when he was working at DC, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Phenomenal stuff.
It's just quality artwork. I was watching a video of Romita Senior just doing a Spider-Man with a Sharpie.
Oh,
and it was just fantastic. And I watched another one of John Buscema, and he just had some crappy brush, and he just slapped it on like he didn't care, and it was fantastic.
These guys
genius,
of course,
genius.
They had to move under pressure, and a lot of times they just grabbed whatever they could possibly get if they couldn't get to the store fast enough.
Draftsmen, all-class draftsmen of the highest order. I mean, these guys understood anatomy and layout and composition and line weight and shadow, and all. I mean, it was just second nature to these guys. I mean, they were just
they need to be every comic book artist's inspiration. You can move on, and you can see, like you can come forward and look at people like Jim Lee and what have you, who are superb in their own way. But you've got to go back to the core. You've got to go back to the columns that hold up the industry, the art form, and that's those people. That's those guys.
That's why I have such respect for guys like from your neck of the woods, Russ, Alan Davis, and Brian Boland.
Brian Boland is
Yeah.
just I mean he inspires me. My work doesn't look anything like bloody Brian Boland's. I wish it did. But the way that he works his lines again is something that people miss. A lot of the modern artists miss.
Yeah.
A lot of artists have missed in the recent times. What I missed at the same time and took me years to work out was what economy of line was all about. And even Jim Lee's work. Like a lot of young people, a lot of young artists will go, "Oh, look at all the detail." It's like, no, everything has a place. Everything has a place.
Exactly.
It's just that's his style.
There's
Economy of line.
There's a difference between detail and doodling.
Yeah.
You know,
Just sticking lots of cross hatching in doesn't cut it. Especially, I mean,
that's funny because I had Will Eisner tell me the same thing.
Yeah,
he said there's a difference between detail and doodling, and you got to stop doodling.
That stuff. Okay, you look at the form and the movement and the energy, and there's like the economy of line every time.
No doubt.
And if you go back through comic history, that one of the first people to really figure that out was C.C. Beck with Captain Marvel. Because he went from a hardcore advertising illustration career to doing comics, and he sat there and go, "Okay, I'm doing comics. What does comics entail? Comics are colorful. Comics are whimsical. Their simplicity." And he pared his style down. I would really would love to have gotten into a conversation with him to see what his output was, his true output during that period, because I bet he was kicking out page after page after page. He was on such a crazy amount. Considering how much Captain Marvel material was. I know he had a studio and he had assistants and he had outside help coming in, but I know a lot of that material was his.
And because you talk about economy of line, I mean, it was everything was there that needed to be there, nothing extra. And one of the greatest turning points for me was during that time when I was working on the Batman the animated stuff, and they sent me all these model sheets drawn up by Bruce Timm. All these notes that he put down there saying, simplify here, streamline there, no excess this. I mean, it was a masterclass in paring it down to just what was needed and nothing more. And it's like Alex Toth and all these guys were just masters of that stuff.
That's why Alex was in animation for as long as he was, because he could do it. He had an eye for it. Just
definitely
such a wonderful eye for negative space that Space Ghost is still a phenomenally designed character with the strictest economy of design.
Oh my God.
That's just phenomenal to look at.
And that was one of the great things that Bruce Timm accredits the design for the animated Batman was how Space Ghost looked.
Yeah.
That streamlined effect. Yeah. And that kind of quality is what I really think we can do through Arrow.
Yeah.
Swing it back around. Because it's that economy of storytelling, economy of line, economy of story. You're not going to have to read 6 issues to get the point of a story. You're going to be able to see it when you first start reading it. So
we've been going on for it's almost noon our time.
Wow. We've overshot by 50%.
Oh well,
I'm going to have to go.
All right. I knew we were going to run long, and we did. I'm grateful to everybody who stuck with us. Again, this has been an episode of Sunday Funnies for the 7th of March. We hope the radio audience is still out there and listening, that we didn't completely lose you, that we jumped right back in, and that you were able to hear all the news about Arrow Comics that's upcoming. So.
Well, I can smell Susie burning my breakfast, so I got to get going.
Well, tell folks how they can get a hold of you, Scott. Let them know how they can find you.
You can find me lurking about my Facebook page. Just go to Facebook, type in Scott Rosema. You'll find me. I'm the one that's got the Steve Reeves Hercules icon, and that's where I post all of my different musings and different sketches and art that I'm doing. So find me on Facebook. That's where I'm at these days, and hopefully when conventions start up again, I'll be lurking about all the different shows.
Great. Thank you, Scott. Thanks for being a part of this and being part of Arrow. And deeply appreciate you. Give Susie our love.
I will. Russ, good talking to you.
Yeah, great to meet you.
Work on those phraseologies, baby.
Yeah.
We'll see you later.
Until we get monetized.
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
So we get monetized.
Yeah.
Daphne, tell folks where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me at my main website, egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can read the first 5 issues of Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, for free. If you like your fantasy comics to be more action oriented, you can head over to Tall Tales Online, TAILS online.com, where you can read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter, because sometime at the end of this month, we are launching the Kickstarter for the Volume 1 reissue of Thieves Quest. We are starting Tall Tales from the beginning so that everyone will finally know what I'm talking about. So head on over to egoworks.com, follow all the links, all my social medias there, including my infamous House of Bob gallery. And like I said, just sign up, and a lot of Kickstarters coming soon.
Yeah. Russ, thanks a lot. And tell folks how they can get a hold of you.
No problem. It was a pleasure to be on. You can find me on YouTube as Comic Book Black Belt. You can find me at my websites, russleach.com or comicbookblackbelt.com. You can find me in lots of different places spread across social media on the internet, which I probably would be banned from many places for being on, but I'm there and you can find me. All my links will be on my website, russleach.com. You can find out more about my book, Only Death Can Save Us, which will be coming to Arrow Comics 4.0 later this year as floppies and reprints of the original books. You can find out more about that at onlydeathcansavus.com, and the original book, which has only 400 prints in existence and will never be reprinted, is still available in demand on Indiegogo if you want to grab yourself a copy. So thanks very much for having me on.
Oh, thanks for being on. I had no idea your print run was that low. Wow.
That's the way it is with crowdfunding. I got I was looking to target about 200, and I got more than 200. I'm very happy.
Even better. Awesome.
Yeah. So I have a few left, which means I can go to in demand. If I can get to 300, that would be a superb first effort, and that would still leave me 100 to sell on in the second campaign, where people could get 2 books. Who, if they were new customers and hadn't originally bought the first book, they could get 2 books in one go.
Sweet. Okay, and again, that's Indiegogo. Only Death Can Save Us. So look for that. That is in demand still. Go over there and get that volume.
It is in demand, and if you ever miss it, you'll be able to get it in Arrow Comics 4.0.
Yeah. Then you can look forward to Indie Revolt being offered on Indiegogo here shortly. We will if you stay tuned to the Indie Volt podcast, we'll definitely let you know when that happens. It will be as soon as I can get it constructed and the campaign gets approved, we will go live. So hopefully that'll be sometime this next week. We look forward to getting that out and underway. It'll only be available for 60 days, and then after that, it's done. We will then go immediately to press and get those books out to people. And like I said, everything on that book is pretty much in-house now. I'm only missing, there's a 6-page story I'm still waiting to get in. There's a 6-page opening. If somebody has a short story out there that's an Indie Volt fan that wants to be in Revolt, let me know. And then a 4-page story that's coming in, hopefully with by Meredith Logren and C. Michael Lanning.
Oh, very cool.
Of a character that Meredith has. And we're looking forward to having that in there as well. It's going to be a phenomenal book. I saw a page of art from it this morning. She posted it on Facebook. Looks phenomenal. So can't wait. And that's just the start from Arrow Comics, what we've talked about today. There's more stuff coming. There's more stuff already in the pipeline that's being prepared. Looking forward to doing 3 books a month. The Hero Bot Monthly, the Indie Volt Revolt, which will be bi-monthly, and Only Death Can Save Us, which I think will be bi-monthly. I think that'll work out really, really well, Russ. Okay. And then there'll be 2 other bi-monthlies to counter those for a while. We'll see how it goes. And we'll stay at 3 for a bit and see if we can grow. If we can grow, then we do, and we add more. If not, then we'll do more crowdfunding campaigns, and I'll get that Anniverse Omnibus out. I've already got people that are asking to do stories for that, which are like, really? You want to do a story for that? Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know. We'll see when we get there, but I definitely want an omnibus, though.
That book's going to be that book's probably going to end up looking like your Tall Tales book.
Probably. comic size.
Very thick, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Almost phone book size once everything's collected, because there's been all sorts of Anniverse little short stories out all over the place. So anyway, to our radio listeners, we love you all. Thanks, Marv. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Trico, for being here. Crimson Comics, Crimson Owl Comics, thank you so much. William Pace, the drawing of the robot. Trico goes old school Arrow, sounds awesome. It's very, it's like every college frat movie I've ever seen where the guys pull shenanigans on the dean, but the dean is Diamond. LOL. Yeah. Well, we just got tired of being played with. That's all. Yeah. And we wanted to move. We've always wanted to nothing more than to move product. It wasn't like we were trying to pull stunts. We were trying to get out there in front of people. And we had all of these gatekeepers in the way and all these hoops we had to reach. Somewhere Steve Jeppy's in his office, surrounded by unsold DC comics, shaking his fist. Zim, no, we're too small. He probably isn't even going to know about this podcast. Says, where would we be able to submit our comics for Arrow if we'd like to join the roster? Randy J. Zim, ZIMM @gmail.com, or you can PM me through the Arrow Comics 4.0 page, which is up on Facebook now. Mike, Jimmy, thanks a lot for asking. Great stuff, Jake says. Be safe, everybody. Great show. See you soon. Wish you all a great week. Same to you, Marv, very much so. We deeply appreciate everybody listening. I have been your host, Randy Zimmerman. I am editor-in-chief now of Arrow Comics. I've used up Variant's bandwidth trying to talk about my company and the stuff that we're going to do. And in the very near future, it's probably going to come on us, like Daphne said, faster than we realized.
Yeah, really.
We're looking forward to doing a regular Indie Volt Revolt book after the campaign is done. Not everything in those books are going to be the book that's in the campaign, though. So please, feel free to pick up that campaign if you so desire. The large book, at least 120 pages. It's probably going to be a lot thicker before it's done, depending upon the stretch goals that we get. I'm going to be out advertising and pushing it the next 60 days once the campaign goes live. So we'll see how it goes, and however far it goes, that's as far as it goes. Other than that, the Hero Bot Zero monthly book we're looking forward to, and of course, the Only Death Can Save Us by Russ. We're looking forward to putting that out in 32-page editions.
Can't wait to see that in a floppy.
For the direct market, I can't either. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, and it'll be, book 1, part 1 of 3, kind of thing. So everybody will be able to keep track of it off the cover. So looking forward to it. We're looking forward to doing Arrow Comics, bringing some value back to you. 32-page books with a cover. Don't let the price scare you right now. It's going to be $4.99, but probably by the time they get out to the stands, everybody else is already going to be $4.99 as well. So, but we promise quality printing and the best value that we can throw your way. So with Arrow Comics, we've always had that tagline. Our aim is entertainment. No, our target is entertainment. Our aim is quality. So we love you all. Of course, our efforts are dedicated to Ralph, who we deeply miss. We're as soon as this all these restrictions are lifted, we do still plan on having a memorial in his honor. We'll have details for that as time goes on and conditions allow. We want to remind folks this is part of the Indie Volt Radio Network. We will be back Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the Variant, and I will be doing the live wire program. Maybe Daphne will be there too. Maybe we'll see who else we can corral together. Thursday mornings, we do the Breakfast Buzz with Varian, myself, and Daphne at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays. And then Sunday mornings again, we'll be back for the Sunday Funnies program. Next Sunday, we'll probably have a group of old fogies sitting around talking about old comics. So that's the goal. At least we'll see how it works out. If you missed our program from last Sunday where Daphne and I had a great conversation with Trina Robbins, definitely get up on YouTube on the Indie Volt channel and go back and listen to that. The program with Arrow Comics with Ralph and Stu is cleanly marked further down the list. All of our podcasts are archived over at the YouTube channel under Indie Volt. It's VOLT. There is a Arrow Comics 4.0 channel over there as well, where I will be putting up videos talking about more Arrow product as we go along. There's more announcements to make, but that's the 3 that we're doing today is enough. There's a lot of fun coming. It's going to be a good time, and we hope you enjoy it. You can contact me also through Facebook. I have a Randy Zimmerman page on Facebook. You can't help it but see it's my header. I've got my characters up there along the top of the Facebook list. I'm also on Twitter under Randy Zim, though I don't go up there very often. I am Randy Zim up on Twitter. And other than that, you can always contact us here through indievolt.com. Aerocomics.com is coming. It's being constructed as we speak. We want to put a larger marketplace up there and more details as to what we're doing. But right now, it's really a bare bones site with a memorial to Ralph and a little bit on the Aero's history, a lot of which we've covered in the last 2 podcasts. Don't forget Liberty Entertainment Distribution, ledg.us. Retailers, if you're not signed up, please go there. And before we leave, we have one more bit of announcement commercials that we need to go through in order to get it done, and that's about the Indie Volt awards. The Indie Volt awards that are coming up in the middle of September. Here is a quick commercial for that. And it has such an abrupt ending. That's available at the indievoltawards.com. More information on that is over there. Please feel free to go over and look. We are looking for books for submission. Actually, Varian is looking for books for consideration right now. There is a very small fee in order to be considered, and that fee is turned around to Autism Speaks because our sponsors want it to be high grade event. We are looking to elevate recognition for independent and alternative comics out there. That includes crowdfunding books, and in order to gain more recognition for the art form across the public, we're going to have a larger promotional push from Dave & Buster's when we get closer to the date. I believe it's September 18th. We'll be live streaming the event into as many outlets as we possibly can, and it's only the first of many. This is going to be a nationally sponsored event. We have Varian has sponsors already lined up for it that will be helping us out with this, and everybody in the categories will get a physical award, and it's just going to be a lot of fun, and it'll be broadcast live from a Dave & Buster's September 18th. Here, that's the Indie Volt Independent Comic Awards. So we wish you the best. I think that covers everything. Go up on indievoltradio.com or indievolt.com and listen to Indie Volt Radio. There's a lot of other programming that pops in from time to time. And when there's not like old or radio dramas or podcasts like this one going on, there's some great alternative and independent music that's programmed by the Indie Princess herself. So we wish you all the best. We're sorry we ran long. Wow. Yes.
Well, this part was its own show.
Yes, this part was its own show, but it was important. We had to do it. We needed to get it out. So, and we deeply appreciate everybody who stuck with us and is still listening now. So, everybody, thanks a lot. Huzzah. We are going to go out the way we came in with the opening, closing, and we wish you the best. And take care. Have a great rest of your day.
Ciao.
Have a good week this week. We'll talk to you soon.
what you've accomplished.
What the fuck is the matter with people in this business?
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.